What is your motivation for shooting? Where does it come from?
My motivation first, as always, passion, because passion is the engine of everything. Since I was a kid in Africa, I started with my father. He started to teach me how to use the gun. There was for different tasks. We went for hunting. We used the gun in a different way. But from that point, I developed my passion. And when I was a little bit bigger, I started to do static competition on a static shooting range, but was too boring the environment for the age that I was at that time. So I quit for some years before I start my military service. And then from that point, since today, I never stopped to use firearms. So this is the first motivation is the passion. Second motivation is my job. The firearms are tools that I use in my job. So my biggest motivation is that I need to be able to use in the best way those tools in my job, because they can save my life or I can save the life of someone else. So those are the two reasons that generate my bigger push every day on using firearms.
How do you intend to push yourself going forward and continue developing your skill?
So I think that we never stop to improve ourselves. As I tell to everybody, and as I tell always, I'm a professional student and part-time instructor, part-time formatter. I teach for 12 years in university, but in my life I never stopped to study, and I continue to learn every day from in many fields and from many other professionals. And I think that if one day I arrive to be too old to be like an instructor, firearm instructor, I'm pretty sure that I never be old enough to stop to be a student. So I'm a permanent student. I'm a student of life. So with this kind of point of view, I think everything you do in your training, everything you do in your job, you must have goals. But you can have some goals that are bigger, and so require step-by-step different smaller goal, so you can drive you in the path to arrive to the bigger goal. And this is why every time, even in the small thing, when I close a drill, I always say we can do better, because this is something that we need to insert in our training. We never stop to learn. We never stop to say, okay, I'm done. No, we can do. If I can do 0.60, maybe I can do 0.50. And if it's not possible now, it's because maybe I'm not trained enough to close that time. So this means that I need to push harder in my training. This means that I never quit my training. I never surrender. I never step back. I need always to go forward. And remember, guys, every time we talk about training, sweat, tears, and blood are always the best technology that you can trust on your training. We can do better. I want to go under 60 or near 60.
Okay, ready?
Let's go.
Bye. He conducted multiple attempts to see just how low he could get his time that day. Always striving to do better, he left it at 0.58 seconds.
Set!
Yes!
So talking about being a student of life, what's the biggest thing that you learn while you teach a class? What do you learn from your students?
This is a really interesting question, by the way. So I think that my biggest lack that I had and I still having is that I have the luck to meet and to have met many peoples all around the world, because I work everywhere in the world. I'm like Middle East, Southeast Asia, Africa, South America, US, East Europe, everywhere, Balkans as well. So and I learned, I had the luck to learn from some professionals that they have really a deep experience in that kind of environments, and I work in so different kind of environments. So again, related on your question, what I learned is that the world is big. It's too big to generate, to have the perception to know everything. We must be humble, especially if we approach a new environment. If we are going in a new environment, we need to understand the environment. We need to study the culture, the laws, the dynamics of that environment. We can't try to import and fix our rules, because we are going to pay the price. And in some environments, the price could be very high. So what I learned that the world is too big, and we are just a little frame. So what we can do is to be humble and learn as more as we can every day. And we never stop to learn. We never stop to discover new point of view, even of the same environment, even of the same job, the same task. This is.
So never stop learning, and use what you learn from all the different environments to work in the environments that you're working in.
Yes, again, the best weapon, the most advanced weapon, you don't need to buy it. You already have it. It's in the middle of your ears. It's your mind. The mind is the only weapon you have, and all the rest are just tools. And what you can do is, with your mind, you can improve your mind day by day for your entire life. And your mind will be with you everywhere. It's the only weapon that can pass under any kind of metal detector. You can carry even in a country where the firearms are not allowed. So trust your mind, work on your mind, and develop your mind in the proper way. Let that, even in training, base your training on your brain process, on your cognitive process. Remember, the cognitive process, the brain process, the mind is always above everything. Muscle memory, all the stuff, the mechanical memory, all the are just on the base of the pyramid. So the first point is always the brain and the mind. This is what you can do.
Thanks for your time, man.
My pleasure.
Put the place up.